Hi everyone, welcome to my channel again. Today I am going to be installing a RaceChip GTS Black, which I received in the mail not too long ago, onto my 2018 Jaguar F-Pace diesel, the 2.0 liter diesel. I got in the mail the GTS here with the Bluetooth application, and here we have the user manual and installation guide. Here, and obviously you have the GTS unit and the harnesses. So I'll be installing that today, and I'm going to go through a step-by-step. So those of you who want to install one can use this as a installation guide to add another 50 horsepower to the car. Stock, the car comes with 180 horsepower, and hopefully with this installed I'll get it up to about 230 to give it just a little bit more power. So yeah, let's get started. So the first step you're going to want to do is take off the engine cover, and I apologize for the low light here. I'm trying to figure out how to best use the phone camera in my tiny little garage here. So what you want to do, I mean, it's just pretty much a snap-on engine cover. You're going to want to take this off here. Doesn't want to come out, so you just want to take that off, and there you're going to actually get to see the full engine. And then when you get to this stage, you're going to want to take this rubber sort of protector off as well, in order to get to the turbo boost sensor in the car. So you can be able to hook up the car. And what we're going to do is we're going to be unplugging this one here, and I believe we're going to be unplugging this one back here in order to put the harness in. So before installing the RaceChip, you want to go through all the instructions, and you know, for Jaguar, each car has their own specific way of how their wiring harness works. So luckily, RaceChip provides these important instructions, even though it does come with another guide here in the box. Show more general other harnesses, basically from other kind of cars. But what I find with this one that is enclosed is that it's more for the German cars like Audi and Volkswagen and Mercedes, BMW. So luckily, again, they give you another instruction pamphlet for how to connect with the Jaguar harnesses. So make sure you pay attention to that. For the RaceChip instructions in the user manual, obviously you get your own specific barcode there, so when you have the app you can easily add the RaceChip onto the app. You know, you look over these instructions and it's pretty much very general. Tells you how to use it, whatnot, but then when you look at the installation, they basically give you pictures of a Volkswagen TDI engine, which is not very useful when you're trying to install it into a Jaguar. So what RaceChip does is when you buy it, they'll send you another PDF file via email, and that gives you more specific instructions of how to install the RaceChip into the Jaguar. So here I've got the harness out, and as you can see, it's labeled A and B there. The A is going to plug into the top sensor there, and B you're going to reach down to get down into there. But the one thing you want to do first is try to see how you want to thread the harness in. Obviously you want it to get underneath the air box here, so that way you can mount the race chip, right in this area. You want to keep it from anywhere sort of that gets hot, and somewhere that stays dry. So we're going to want to get it into that region there. So one of the things I'll do is try to put this and thread it through under there. Fortunately, I don't have something to sort of mount my camera on to film me doing it, or else I'm gonna have to try to do it one-handed and it'll just take way too long. So I'm gonna skip ahead and show you what it looks like after it's threaded through. Okay, so as you can see, I'm threading it through here. I got it under the air intake hose here. Sorry, just getting organized here. So I ran the wires down underneath here to there, so it just takes a little bit of a shimmy to get it under there, but fairly easy. You got your harness where the race chip will plug in right here, so we'll be able to position the thing, the GTS, right about there. And obviously you got your A wire here, and you got your B, and you want to keep it from anything that's going to be moving. I'm going to end up putting some plastic ties in to sort of tie everything up, and I'm going to probably re-thread it to get it under here. Or what you can do is probably try to unplug this bad boy, but I can do that later. I'm going to plug it under here and then run it through there, and that way it will look pretty seamless, and again, keep it away from any moving parts in the engine. Last thing you want is to get shredded or overheated. So we're gonna go on to the next step. Okay, now I got the harness in. I got it underneath the wire, the tube here, and I got it all sort of here mounted, getting ready to go. And what I'm gonna do is probably start with B, since that's gonna be the hardest to get to under there. So the harness is very similar to this one here, where you have the red safety clip, but it is a little harder to get to. So all you do is you push it down in order to get it to snap, and then there should be a release there to sort of get into that, which unfortunately one-handed is pretty tough, but in order to hold the camera, but you know, you just use your fingers to get in there, and you unplug there. You can see there, you got that, and then the sensor down there. So what you're going to want to do is to mate it up. So you're going to take the female side of the B harness, and you're going to want to plug it in. But again, you want to follow the instructions that RaceChip has provided in order to make sure you plug that in properly. So let's get that plugged up right now. Okay, viewers, I got it confused and backwards. So this is going to plug into A, and as you can see, notice the 3-prong. This is going to plug into A, and then this top one here will plug into B. That's going to be a 4-pin. So what you want to do again is make sure you're plugging it in right correctly. You'll see that this one has a little triangle there. And you're going to want to plug that into the harness here. Let me switch hands here real quick. What you're going to do is just get that plugged in. Make sure that it snaps tight, and then you lock it in there. And then the other side, you're gonna have to sort of get in there. And that's gonna plug in to, sorry, this side here. You're gonna wanna get that down into that sensor right over there. So, got it plugged in. So what I found, it was easier just to take the coolant cap off and the rubber gasket around it. It's easier to make it just sort of thread through around. And so because the harness is a little extra long, sort of had to reposition it over here so that the male wires down below, the female wires then plugged in. Takes a little bit of effort to get that snapped in, but you know, just with a little elbow grease, you're able to punch that through and hear it click. That's important to hear that. Make sure that it's installed and doesn't come off at any point. So yeah, that's how you get A plugged in, and then we're just gonna put the rubber gasket back on here. And then we're just going to reinstall the oil cap right up here. Easy peasy, there you go. Okay, now it's time for the installation of the B harness. So we're just gonna flip that cap, push the little button, pull the original sensor out here. We'll just stick that to the side there. And then we're gonna take the male portion of the B, and you're gonna plug that up. Make sure you hear that snap there to make sure that's plugged in. Then we're gonna find the other side of this harness here. Sorry, with the camera work, pretty bad, but I'm trying to do all this one-handed here. And we're going to install that in to there. So again, one-handed, not ideal, but you want to make sure that snaps into. And then you're gonna close that once that's installed there. So now your harness is connected. So before you really get everything installed, you want to make sure that all your wires of the harness are where you want it to be, because what you're going to want to do is to add a little twist tie to them in order to make sure it's all locked down and sort of organized and clean. You don't want, these harnesses to be jumping around in here and end up in a spot that they shouldn't be in the engine compartment. But it's pretty easy, and it's just going to take a little bit of playing around with to make sure that nothing's in the way of anything. And then again, the spot where it can end up melting the plastic housing for the harness or your wires or create any disconnections. Yeah, you just want it to be nice and tidy so that when you put the engine cover back on too, that it looks like there's been no real change to the car. You want to look as factory as possible. So now that we got that in, we're going to add the race chip, and then we're going to turn the ignition on and see, hopefully, that there will be no engine faults coming up here. So what you want to do is you want to take the plug here. Sorry, and the camera works pretty shoddy, apologize. So you're going to pull this out here, and you're going to take the dummy sensor out, and that basically just, if you want to put it to factory setting, you'll just put that, take the race chip out and then put this back in, and that just lets the car run at its factory setting. So we're going to put that over here real quick, and we're going to take our GTS unit here, and all you have to do is just set it down there, and then once you hit that purple, it should all just suck it right in. So there we go. So now we're gonna go turn on the ignition and make sure everything's working. Okay, so now we're going to crank up the ignition, see if any engine faults show up. As you can see, is low fuel. We can take the car on a test drive to see if it get it fueled up and see how that goes. But no engine faults are showing up here, which is a good sign. Just that the ignition's on. And if we come around, in here, we'll see if now we see that the GTS is on and it is Bluetooth ready. So we will have that on. So yeah, good to go. Took all about 10 minutes to install. Now I've added back the rubber cover here and the insulator. As you see, I got it all wired through here, and I added a couple twist ties. This location here. Right here, hopefully that keeps that together there, and right here too. And you can see the slack is running down through here underneath the air hose. So you want to keep that up and about. So I might add another twist tie down there, but other than that, yeah, now we're fully installed. I don't need to adjust anything, so we're going to put the engine cover back on. And again, I'm doing this one-handed, so I apologize, but it's pretty easy here. You just want to line up the hole with the oil cap there, and then you want to hear that snap when you push down. The one's right here, and that's going to be a little bit more resistant just because you've added the harness, and that might get in the way there, but you just punch it down and there you go, you're secure. And yeah, you basically got the RaceChip harness installed. As you can see, here's a little bit of the harness here sticking out, which is totally fine. It looks like it kind of belongs there in a way. There might be actually ways where you can sort of hide it underneath other harnesses here. I'll see if I can do that. But let's see. That one's a complicated one anyways. But I was gonna see if I can remove that. Excuse me. But yeah, so then you plug through and then you got it all wired through under there. You can see where the harness conjoins, and then you got your RaceChip right here, which we'll find a way to secure a little better coming up here and make sure that everything here clears without damaging the unit. So we'll get that buttoned up and take this thing for a test drive and see if there's any noticeable difference of adding 50 horsepower to this 2-liter Jaguar F-Pace diesel. So right now I've got the car set into the default sport mode, and I can already notice a significant difference in the car in terms of its pickup and it's the way it revs. It's not even in race mode yet, which I'm excited to crank on, but as you can tell, there's already a lot more power in the acceleration than before. I mean, a significant difference. So I'm pretty excited to give this thing a try in race mode after I fuel up and get the engine warmed up. Fueled up, and I'm gonna try it in race mode just to see what the acceleration is like. So let's see what this thing has once this light turns green. Five seconds. Oh yeah. Seems to be a lot more diesel, granted, so I think it would add more top line speed than it would actual acceleration. It just seems that the red band gets a little higher quicker. Yeah, you can definitely feel more power in this thing. So up next, I'm going to be installing the RaceChip XLR throttle sensor. So hopefully that will give a little bit more sensitivity to the accelerator pedal, which would give it a little bit more performance. So thanks for watching this video, and if you like it, please subscribe. And the more subscribers I get, the more I'm likely to put more content on, especially when it comes to RaceChip installations, as I've already done about 4 other cars. So yeah, give me a like, give me a follow, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.